Hey guys, Umbreon here, and this story will be about the time that I lived with my father. Also, before I start this story up, I do want to say thank you guys so much for 100 subscribers. I don't know where you all came from. I'll be probably doing a special at some point soon. But yeah, back to the story. So, when I was about 4, my parents split. And I stayed with my mother, and my dad just disappeared, at least from my life. To my knowledge, though. I mean, when you're 4, your memory's bad. I don't have good memory, so yeah. But to my knowledge, he kind of wasn't there at all. He lived elsewhere, and I didn't get to see him. When I was 10, he came back, because he wanted to spend the weekends together. Um, And before I continue this really quick, I do want to say that my parents weren't legally divorced yet. They still aren't, technically, yet. The paperwork's filed, they're just waiting for the court to get through with everything. But um, they were just separated. Um, and so, because of that, there was an agreement set up, a verbal one, where I would go with my father's every weekend, and I'd be with my mother for the weekdays, so I could go to school and stuff. And that stayed for a while. Now, when I would be at my dad's during this time, we didn't do what you might think we would do. Like, there was no father son bonding or anything like that. No. He would smoke and watch cartoons while I colored or something in the other room. It was okay, I guess, but it wasn't really fun either. Fast forward 3 months, I talked to my mom about how it was just boring being at my dad's. Like, I told her about, how all he would do would smoke and watch cartoons and let me do whatever, and it was boring. And I didn't want to go there anymore. There was no point. Um, not like he bonded. And I managed to convince her, and she was like, "It's okay, fine." And that stopped. Um, Now, this wouldn't be a good story time if it ended like that, of course. No, 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 no. Oh, I wish. So fast forward 4 years, mom said I needed more stability and structure in my life, more discipline. I was a kid, not the best kid, and honestly, I did think I needed that stuff. So she decided the best option would be to send me to live with my father. And living with him was not fun. Now, he had a roommate. I'm going to call her Cheryl. Um, and she didn't like me at all. I don't know what I did. I don't know if I'd ever be able to remember what I did. But I did something to make her despise me. And my father would believe her over me. Um, and she just kind of never made me feel welcome. My father would always say, "Oh no, you're welcome. This is your house too." But I wasn't allowed to go to the fridge. I had to ask in order to eat anything unless it was dinner because that would just come served. And the worst part was they would eat dinner in the living room and I would eat dinner on the cluttered table in the dining room, which has a wall separating it, so it's not like I could even chat with them. They'd be watching TV while I'm sitting staring at pots and pans as I eat my food. Um, and so, and yeah, so there was that. And I wasn't allowed to leave my room. My room was my area. I couldn't leave it unless I needed to ask for something, or it was dinner time, or I had to go to school. Those only times was allowed to leave my room. I was basically locked in. It's not like I had any friends to go to anyway. Lived in a very small area with like no children around. So, it's not like I had anything else to do. Um, and I just, for some, what she would do is So this roommate, Cheryl, sometimes she would come into my room and make up some dumb reason she could think of on why I would hate my father. I didn't like my father. I still don't like him, but I don't hate him either. I have no reason to like him, and I have no reason to hate him. I am happy he brought me into this world, but I am upset that he never wanted to bond. Even when we lived together, he would never agree to do something together. Like I would say, let's go to the park, and he'd say it's too expensive. I'd say, let's go fishing, too expensive. Let's go to the mall, too expensive. Let's just hang out in the living room. I have to work. Always an excuse. And the excuse was always, it's too expensive. That was the most common excuse he would use, even if it was a free activity. And the only thing he would do, because he felt bad that he would never bond with me, was he would buy me things. He bought me a PS4. He bought me a phone. He pays for my phone bill, even though I'm an adult. He still pays for my phone bill. Um, and he assists on it. And then he gets confused whenever, I talk to him. I always bring up something I want or I need. Usually I need. Nowadays I rarely talk to him. But anyway, um, he thought money could buy my love. That's not true. It'll never be true. Um, there was never happy times living with him. If I'm gonna be honest, it was very toxic. But if I talked about every toxic thing that happened, we would be here all day. All day. So I'm going to talk about the thing that made my mother say, I'm done, you're coming home. So I'm a heavy sleeper. It takes a lot to wake me up. The ice water trick, that doesn't work at all. I don't even stir. Um, and he knew this. He knew this very well. And one morning, he got so annoyed that I wasn't waking up. He pinned me to my wall by my neck. And it wasn't I'm at the wall with my feet on my bed. No, I was hanging by my neck. There was no contact from feet to bed or feet to floor or whatever you want to say. And that, of course, woke me up like it would with anyone because now I can barely breathe. So my body's like, oh, wake up. And he saw that I was awake, threw me on my bed like I was some toy, and said, get ready for school. So yeah, fun. Um, I every night my dad would let me call my mother, and during that phone call, I told her what happened, and her immediate response was, "You're coming home." Um, very obvious, something that any mother would say. You're that was not okay. Um, and now before anything, this is the last thing I'm gonna say, and then because this video is getting a little long. Um, ooh, sorry. Okay, so about that roommate, okay, Cheryl. So me and her, like I said before, never got along, and I never said anything bad to her. I never did anything bad to her. She was just rude to me. Um, and one time, this is the time when my mother was on her way to pick me up. She was maybe 10 minutes out at this point, and I was packed up and just waiting for her in my room. And Cheryl comes in, she closes the door, and she proceeds to tell me how much I hate and disrespect my mother, and every single reason she believes is why I hate and disrespect my mother. Now, I love my mother. I am 100% a mama's boy. I have loved her and will always love her more than pretty much anyone in this world. And when Cheryl said that, I snapped. Like, you can tell me how much I hate my father and your theories on it all you want, but my mother is off limits. And I slapped her. And then, right then, my mother pulled in. I saw the lights. I walked out with my stuff, got in, and said, "Let's go." Because I did not want to stay any longer. And yeah, that was that. Um, so yeah, this video is getting pretty long. Before I end this, I do want to say that this video isn't like a pity video or anything. This happened so long ago. I really am not saying it for that. It's just a fun story I figured I'd tell. I tell my stories just to tell them. It's nice to talk, you know? So yeah. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please consider liking, and if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. Um, so yeah, if you made this far into the video, tell me your comment down below your favorite thing about elephants. Alright, see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.